those are the markets. Now, I want us to set the foundation. When we talk about music, it cuts across many sectors, but it is domiciled under the art, entertainment, and recreation subsector. And for arts, recreation, and entertainment, question is, how did it perform in contributing towards the GDP of the country? Well, in the year 2018, this particular sector did 24.5 billion shillings. And that number went a little bit higher in the year 2019, 27 billion shillings. Then it dropped in 2020, 19.9 billion shillings. In the year 2021, it rose to 23.5 billion shillings. And record performance in the year 2022 in regards to contribution towards the GDP at 28.07 billion shillings. That is matters to do with GDP performance. But what is the bigger picture? Because you can see billions and you say that's a lot of money. Question is percentage of overall GDP performance. Those numbers I've just shown you. In 2018, it was 0.3% of the GDP. This is below 1%, just so you know it. 2019, still the same. It dropped in 2020, 0.2%. 2021, it was maintained at 0.2%. And in the year 2022, it's 0.2% of the GDP. Now, of concern here is that the sector is not growing as it should, stagnating at 0.2%. What is happening? When you look at licensed content service providers, and this becomes very critical because these are the off-takers when it comes to music streaming. They are very critical in that regard. When you are watching your music videos and listening to the likes of Mutoria, it's offered by this licensed content services provider. Now, their numbers and their operation in the country. In the year 2018, there were 364, and by close of last year, they stood at 682. So the number of CSPs are increasing. The country, it shows there is potential in regards to this particular industry. But I want us to go global because we can't just look at Kenya as a singularity. We exist in the global audience. And here, in regards to matters performance, when we talk about music, to be specific, audio streaming revenue rose 9% in the year 2022 to $12.7 billion. It is a multi-billion industry. How is Kenya tapping into that? We'll be having that discussion later on. Then we also had 589 million users of paid subscription account. And this is critical because we'll be talking about the digital and digitization of music and how that is changing the revenue scheme. In fact, this brings us to matters to do with streaming. Streaming has become the king when it comes to music. And it includes paid subscription and also advertising supported streams. They grew in the year 2022 by 11.5% to stand at 17.5 billion US dollars. And streaming account for 67% of the total global recorded music revenues. It shows that it's more than 50%. So if you want to make money in music, there's a likelihood that you have to operate in the streaming and find ways to maximize that particular sector. Let's take a look at the next slide in regards to matters to do with art in Kenya. If we may, actually, I'm being told I was shooting or punching over the head. This is the last slide. But this actually is the status of music industry, multi-billion industry. The big question is, what is the status of Kenyan music industry? Now, here I have a gentleman. This gentleman, I met him many, many years ago. You've really grown, sir. Yes. Benali, yes, but official names is Benjamin Okoth, music producer, sound